Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I am really excited because I am unboxing something that I have been anticipating for a while now. It's the NYS SPP L1 Patchbay by Neutrik, and this is gonna save me loads of time in the studio. It even came with this 6-piece snake, all for just 66 euros, guys. Let's open the box and let's see what's inside. Alright, before I get this open, guys, just a quick list of specs. It uses 1/4-inch connections. There's 48 points on either side. It's wired with PCB, so you don't have to do any soldering. The way you change between normaled, half normaled, and through is just by flipping those PCB cards inside of the unit itself. Now the size of the unit is your standard 19-inch rack, so it'll fit any standard rack, and it even comes with little identification strips so that you can label your patches. Alright guys, let's do this. A little bit of tape here. No problem for my X-Acto knife. Flip her around, and wow, okay, so it's a lot smaller than I thought it was going to be, which is kind of cool. The whole thing is about this big. I'll get rid of the foam. And there you go. It's like quite basic, but like really clean also. And the thing has quite a weight to it, if I'm being honest. Like I thought it was going to be lighter, but this thing is heavy, so that's good. Let's have a look in here. You can see you have a little diagram on the top that explains what the different functions are: half normaled, split, isolated, and also an explanation about their grounding there. Let's see what else is in the box, guys. Looks like we have some mounting screws for your 19-inch rack and a bunch of these small little metal tabs, which I believe have to do with grounding the individual channels. We have our little identification strip here, which we can use to label it, and it looks like it has 3M backing, which I'm always happy about. 3M is a great company. And of course your manual with instructions on how to assemble, as well as a diagram. Okay, so first impressions on this Patchbay, guys. I think it is really good value for the money. I mean, 66 euros, and it comes with these cables. Like that's, I don't see anyone selling it for less than that. And it does all of the functions of a normal Patchbay. And it's not like pro guys don't use this Patchbay. I've seen videos where pro studios have this exact Patchbay in them. So anyways, if you are thinking about buying it, guys, please consider using the affiliate link that I have in the description. It's no extra cost to you, but it does help me out a bit. So thanks for considering doing that. Okay guys, so I want to show you how to access the different normaling modes on the Patchbay. So it's very simple. You have 2 flathead screws that are here in the front. We're going to take those out, and then we're going to remove the faceplate like so. Now you have access to all of these PCB cards, and you literally pull them out and you can change the orientation. And depending on this orientation, you're going to get access to different normaling modes. Alright guys, I have this thing back together. I took some of the cards out and flipped them. I don't know exactly how I'm going to use the Patchbay yet, and I'll probably take this off and flip the cards whenever I need. Another thing I want to mention, guys, is that these little grounding pins are not necessarily needed. They are for if you're having problems with grounding, then you can use them, or if you have a certain plan for how you want to ground things in your studio, then you can use these. But otherwise, I'm not going to use them unless I have problems. And yeah, that's it, guys. I found it super difficult to visualize how I would use the Patchbay in my setup because there's so many options and it's hard to keep it all in your head. So I ended up doing some drawings in Procreate, and there was a few different versions before I got like a starting point, but I still had to do some trial and error to see what would sort of work for me. In the end, I have something that I'm happy with, and this next part of the video will kind of just document that process so that you guys can hopefully see what would work for your setup. So it's a few hours later from the last video that I took, and I'm still trying to figure out how I want to wire this thing up. Got a little bit of a mess over here, as you can see. Got a bunch of the PCB boards out, but I would encourage you guys to make a little plan of how your I/O is going to be. And if you want, I'll post a link to mine in the description so you can have a look and just see kind of how I thought of it. I want it to be as simple as possible, but just give me flexibility and keep me from having to go behind the desk. So there you go, guys. That's where we're at right now. I'll give you an update here shortly. Just a little tip for getting the faceplate back on, guys. Take your time and try to get all of the points lined up before you put pressure on it. You can just like wiggle them a bit, and usually it becomes pretty obvious which are the ones that are causing problems. But that looks pretty good to me for now, so I'm going to get the screwdriver, flathead, and get the screws started. Okay guys, let's get into how the normaling works on this particular Patchbay, because I found it really confusing. So first off the bat, the first thing I want to say is there's only two physical ways to connect the PCB boards, okay? You have the top way or the bottom way, okay? And this here is half normaled for the both across the top, and then if you turn them, it could either be split or it could be isolated. Okay, so let's talk about half normaled first. So we're at the top left of this diagram. So in the half normaled setup, you would have your signal, and it would use the waterfall concept that they talk about, where it goes from the top and then it goes down into the bottom one, okay? So you would use this for, like, let's say you have a microphone and you have your interface at the bottom, and you always want to have this microphone sending to the interface, okay? And this keeps you from having you don't have to have a connection here between, because it's already there. Okay, now the next thing I want to say about this diagram up here in the top left is that in this configuration, you also have an option to tap into your microphone signal from the front top jack. Okay, so you might be able to send that signal somewhere else. Okay, now let's talk now about this other side. Okay, we're still in half normal, but there's a key difference. We've utilized this gray plug. Okay, the gray plug is really important because the gray plug always splits the signals or splits the channels, right? So as soon as we use this gray plug, now these two channels are separate. Okay, so I just want to make a little note here for you guys about the difference in between half normaled versus fully. Literally the only difference is that on this Patchbay, when you tap into this jack up here on the top, I lost my thing. When you tap into this jack, it doesn't break the connection, because as you can see over here, that connection it's just split, right? Whereas if you were using a normaled Patchbay, any connection, this one or this one, would fully break it. So that's the only difference, guys, between fully normaled and half normaled. So let's go now to the bottom left diagram here, and we're going to look at how you might use this split signal layout. So, oh, that's awful. I'm going to redraw that. So I had an example or an idea where you could take your bass guitar, plug it into the bottom rear jack, send your signal this way, and then have your signal be split. And that could be useful maybe because if you want to have your like DI signal recorded and then you want to like send it to an amp. Okay, so then you could have both of those being recorded at once with the split setup. Now, there's no physical difference between this setup and this setup, okay guys? It's the exact same thing. The only difference is, again, this gray plug. As soon as you use the gray plug, the channels get split, okay, or they become isolated. And so the way that I would use this would be for outboard gear or sends. And I'll use an example of a preamp. Okay, so I have my microphone there. The signal comes in through the top, goes in here, goes into my preamp, gets boosted, and then now that signal comes right back through this way. And now I have a processed signal coming out of this jack here. Okay guys, so those are the different ways that I would use it. I just want to reiterate, there's only two ways to turn the cards, and the difference is how we are using this gray jack. Okay, so pay attention to the gray jack, because that will basically decide whether the signal is isolated or not. Hopefully that sheds some light on how this works, guys, and hopefully the examples might be useful to you. As I said, I found it really confusing and only am just now kind of understanding it, so hopefully that helps. Another small thing, guys, is that I'm leaving a gap now between the outside of that bracket and the faceplate, just to make it easier. Next time I need to open it up, I can slide a flathead screwdriver right in this space here. Just something to make your life easier in the future. Alright guys, so it's me from the future, and I wanted to tell you how I ended up connecting all this stuff together using the Patchbay. So I got two new preamps there. So those are here in my 500 series chassis, and I had two more compressors on the way. And here's what the Patchbay looks like right now. So I'll just walk you through the different sections and tell you how they're being used. This first section I'm keeping open for line out, okay, and these are all in the half normal mode, so they just go from the flow from the top to the bottom. I'm leaving these open for line out, meaning if I have something that's already been recorded in here and I wanted to send it out to an external piece of gear, say a compressor or a preamp, I could do that, and then I could just send it back in through one of these channels. So these are for line out. These green ones are for my snake, which is out in this live room. So there's 8 microphones and they're connected to each one of these channels. And normally the signal just comes in through here and then goes out into the line in of the Apollo, okay? But if I want to, say, use a preamp, I can do that. So in this example, I'm taking the microphone from channel 7 and I'm sending it to this preamp. And then I'm taking the process signal from the preamp and I'm sending it here to channel 1. But I could send it to any channel just very easily just by doing that. So that's how I'm using these, and these are also half normaled, guys. And then the last 8 are for my outboard gear. So here I'm gonna have an 1176 pair of compressors, and here I have my 4 preamps, my Cappy preamps, my MkIII preamps. So all of these are using the split configuration. To me, that just makes a lot of sense. You don't want to be like doubling the signal or whatever. You just have the your dry signal coming in, it goes into the effect, gets processed, and comes out, you know, processed and goes into where you want. So that's how I'm using it, guys. At the moment, I'm really happy with it. Like, it's already saving me a lot of time and just letting me be more creative with, I don't know, trying a preamp on a mic that I hadn't used it before, or you know, just routing things in a different way. So anyways, guys, I hope the video helped you. If it did, go ahead, like and subscribe. It really helps the channel, guys. And leave a comment if you think this Patchbay is worth it, or if you think you would get maybe a more expensive one. Anyways, guys, I'll catch you in the next one, and have a good one.